Morning everyone, I'm here to do the reading for the lovely sign of Sagittarius. But before I get started, of course, I have to do my little spiel. If you're a Sagittarius or you recognize yourself as a Sagittarius, it's more than likely you're referring to your sun sign. If you would like to know more about that, I highly recommend you Google natal chart or birth chart and actually have a really good look into the type of personality you have through what planets were in your chart when you were born. So every planet aligns with a certain aspect or a house, and each of those houses represent something in our life, like work, family, etc., and our love. But it's really interesting to understand that if a reading doesn't relate to you, like if you're watching the Sagittarius reading, oh, it's not my reading, it might mean that you need to go to your moon sign, your Venus, your rising if you have your time of birth, whatever. But you can find out what planets are there. That's why a lot of people talk about their chart, because a lot of us resonate more with our moon than our sun. So, Sagittarius, go and Google yourself natal chart or birth chart. Get the report, download the report so you can read up on it and understand it a bit better. Some of it may be too complicated to actually understand, but you can go back to it and read it over time. But it's really worth having a look at. So, on another note, thank you so much for subscribing to the channel. If you're new on board, welcome. Thank you very much for joining me. I do have a membership program going now on the channel if you're interested in learning the tarot. There is a number of videos up already, so if you join, you will get access to all those videos. And I do offer some coaching, some one-on-one tarot lessons, and some gifts along the way. So if you're interested in any of those things and some additional readings too, please consider joining me. What else can I say? If you want a personal reading with me, I am available to do personal readings. My website is not up at the moment. I'm still considering whether it's worth putting up while things are quiet. But if you do want a personal reading, just email me at theaussiegoddess@gmail.com and I'll send you a list of costs and availabilities. It is worthwhile sort of letting me know, like for example, I do a really short reading just for if you want a couple of questions answered. I do, 1 hour readings if you want some coaching along with your tarot reading, whatever. So just let me know sort of what you want would be really good too. Thank you. All right, we're going to use the Radiant Rider-Waite Tarot today for your reading. Okay, wow. All right. So we could be dealing with a Scorpio or an Aries here. But there is something in your world that's about to be turned upside down. Now, I don't think that the Tower is, like I always say, all the cards in tarot are not good or bad. They are messages. So we can't see something as bad because very often it brings a lot of good to us. So the Tower for me can be a breaking down of the way we think about something and restarting. It can be something physical as well, like the end of a relationship and rebuilding yourself, or learning things about yourself that you've never realized before. It can be like giving up a job and moving on. It could be something you do out of the blue or something that just changes for you. But for me, the Tower often comes around when we've been living our lives a certain way and we need to consider whether there is another way of doing things. So there's some sort of offer being given to you here. Somebody's making an offer. Now, it could be an offer of money. It could be in regards to work. But when the night comes around, someone's actually taking action here. So it could be a relationship like Capricorn, Taurus, Virgo. It could be somebody offering you a job or an opportunity even to move in a new direction. I feel like it's possible you're getting a love offer from a Cancer, Pisces, Scorpio here. So if it's a love offer you're coming through, there's a brand new beginning coming through after a period of waiting and a lot of happiness with this new beginning. So let's have a look. I feel like whatever it is though, it's coming as quite a shock to you. So it could have been a period of time before somebody's contacted you, for example. It could be some sort of communication coming out of the blue. But it feels like it's rocking your world a bit here. So let's see where we're going with that. All right, so 2 aces in the reading, which is absolutely beautiful. Brand new beginning. Again, there is this feeling, for some of you, it could definitely feel like it could be work. All right, have you moving away from something? So immediately that mini reading is sort of resonating with the main reading. There is some sort of new beginning coming here after walking away from something else. Now, it could be that you're moving from one job to another job. It could mean that you've had a relationship that perhaps didn't go so well and you're restarting or revitalizing that relationship. But if that is the case, you're doing it this time in a very different way because you've got the Tower there. Now, obviously, I see a lot of people with readings around personal relationships. And sometimes people say, I don't want anybody from the past back. And I feel like that's a bit narrow-minded, because somebody from the past could be somebody we had a friendship with in the past, or we knew at school, or we knew through friends, it could have been friends with, whatever. So when we see the past energy, it doesn't always mean that you've had a relationship with this person in the past. And there are a lot of relationships that get off the ground really badly, and then somebody will go back because they know there was potential there, but perhaps the other person, you know, had a lot going on in their life and they couldn't attend to what they needed to attend to while they were having a relationship. Some people won't have long distance relationships, but then realize that, you know, perhaps they can bridge that distance somehow. So there's a lot of variables there. So I always say to people, don't take the readings too firmly, because sometimes the readings will relate to another area of your life, or they will relate to another situation, but I'm only able to pull in what I can in one reading. It would be very different if you were in front of me and it was a personal reading, then I would know it related to you. But I might be reading for, you know, a couple of hundred people, perhaps more, and sometimes all the energies are coming through and I can't always grasp every situation. So please use your own intuition with these readings. Something is turning around here. We have Cancer energy coming through here. 9 of Wands. You've definitely had some sort of situation with this person before that left you in a bit of a victim mentality. I have the Temperance card with the 4 of Wands. You know what? You could have been the 9 of Cups. You could have been in a relationship that was very I'm just trying to think, because I read for somebody the other day where they'd had a relationship, but they'd actually separated due to family problems, but then realised, you know, that they really loved each other and they wanted to give it a go, even if their family didn't agree with it. So that's sort of another situation here. So I feel like there's a lot of situations here. I'm feeling here with this wish card coming in that something wasn't quite right the first time around that could be resolved. Now, we're not talking about a relationship that was abusive or, you know, in any way, shape or form, narcissistic, controlling. These are things that you would have learned in that time. So it's not that sort of situation. This is a situation that I feel this time around you're more balanced and you're more able to see things clearly. But this means you're going to do things in a completely different way. Let's just have a look again. So I've got you sort of changing something, rebuilding something, building, like demolishing everything and building something new from the ground upwards. There seems to be an offer coming through here, and I do feel it's an offer of something like a love offer, or even a love like a commitment here, because I have enough cards to say there could be a commitment. But maybe this time around you and your person are discussing somehow or another, because this is so much more stable. It's like you're discussing more about what happened before and how you can work together. And I learned that a long time ago, because for me, I always thought relationships should be easy. You shouldn't have to work at them all the time. And if somebody that I was dealing with or dating with wasn't putting in the same amount of effort, instead of saying you're not doing it right, you need to give me something, I would walk away. So it's possible here that you're starting to realize that perhaps it takes two to build a relationship, and it takes both of you giving to the relationship and receiving something back. So it's not just a one-way street, which may have been the way you were seeing it before, or it's not just somebody, you know, absolutely doing everything for the other person and the other person just feeling like they can take and take and take and not do anything in return. There is something here that's definitely been around before, and I feel like with that tower there is a rebuilding of something here. Now it might mean that you never actually separated from this person, but you may have been going through a rough time with them, and maybe one or you or the other person just isn't able to commit to doing that work. So relationships take work. Is it hard work? Sometimes it's hard work. But for the most part, if you're both contributing, if you're both respectful and loving each other, then the work is not hard. It may be complicated, it may be time consuming, it may take both of you sitting at a table and going through things to see how you can do them better in the future. But it takes work. And if one person is not prepared to put into the relationship and the other person keeps giving, it's the recipe for toxicity. So I feel like here something is being given a second chance, but this time around there is a lot of energy of reciprocity. Maybe one of you has realized that perhaps you could have made a bigger effort, or you could have done things differently, or you could have considered yourself above what everybody else was saying. So, you know, if you've got a family of being overprotective and, you know, trying to do the right thing, maybe sometimes you just have to tune out to that and make your own decisions. It's lovely that people want to protect you, but at the end of the day, it's still your life, your decision. So for me, something really good is coming out of something that you felt sad or disappointed with before, or you couldn't get off the ground, whatever, but it's this time around you're giving it a little bit of a different go. Now, if this is a work-related reading for you, I feel like perhaps you've been working somewhere where you've had some pretty tough stuff going on, but instead of walking away, it looks like you're trying to find some way to get around it. And sometimes we just need to have a look at, oh, I don't know that card. Sometimes we just need to look at ourselves and ask ourselves, how can we do things differently? This card here is Yeshi Tsuyogi, and it's all threes. 333, 333. So if you're a 3 person watching this, then you will be able to relate to this card possibly more than most people. I feel like that when the numbers come through like that, it's just to let us know that we need to listen. You shall overcome all obstacles. Success is imminent. So stay connected to your path no matter what, and continue to apply yourself. Allow your spiritual path to support you in all areas of your life. Live by your spiritual beliefs. Seek out the support of your spiritual brothers and sisters for help when needed, but also trust that you are intimately and directly connected to the powerful light within. There can be a dramatic healing breakthrough when you rely upon your spiritual connection. That's really beautiful. I'd like to read into it a lot more, but it might be worthwhile, being all the threes are there. Empowerment and healing by assuming a confident attitude and taking steps forward. So that beautifully complements the reading. It indicates that a negative time is drawing to a close and encourages commitment to the task of overcoming negativities through spiritual practices suited to you. You know, I never underestimate the power of meditation. Taking time out sometimes and sitting by yourself or sitting within your own energy. And some people find that very, very uncomfortable. They don't like the silence. They don't like being by themselves. And I feel like that in itself is a lesson or a challenge for you to overcome. Sometimes people can't meditate because they say their head's too noisy. I say to you, all people's heads are noisy when they first start meditating, but after a period of time, they do quieten down, and you can work with that. You can almost get to the point where your thoughts are just, you just let them go when they come in. So I always think of, you know, like a cloud passing by. You get a thought, and instead of sort of getting into the thought and thinking about it, what you do is you just see it as a cloud passing by and you just let it go. That's a thought. Okay, I'll acknowledge that I've had a thought and I'll just let it go. And that is all about meditation. If you can't do meditation, You can always practice mindfulness, and that means any moment you stop, you take some really good breaths into the diaphragm, and you just allow yourself to be in that moment, in that one moment. And you will find by doing that your mind quietens. So if you've got a problem with overthinking, it's a really good way to learn how to quieten the mind. All right, I'll leave you with that. Thanks, Sagittarius.